This is the first time I've done anything like this. This is just an old piece of wood, an old panel. I just mixed up some paint that I just thought would be a nice colour. It actually dried darker than what I mixed it up as. Didn't even mix it that very well. It's actually quite nice to have different colours in there. I used some orange and I also put some white through there just to make it look a little bit more aged. This is all just acrylic paint that I'm using. I then used a masking tape to go over the excess that had built up, so the bit thicker paint, just to lift it off, because when I come to sand it, actually it brought the paint up a lot better. As you can see, it's actually taking off a lot more paint when I'm sanding it over. I'm just using a 120 grit, and this is a bit more of a finer sanding grade, as I didn't want to take too much off and I just wanted to see how it would lift. Now I'm just freehanding a pattern on here, trying to make it symmetrical, putting tape down the side so I could get some really nice straight lines in there. And also I didn't want to paint right up to the border. I'm using this really nice blue that contrasts with this red. I just wanted to make it pop on the background. I think it works quite well, so I'm just filling in here the pattern that I'd done, just making sure I'm going over my pencil, making sure it's symmetrical again, and I'm doing the same from the top and the bottom. And then I'm using the same red just to correct any errors I might have made, just to make it even more symmetrical. And you can see now I've taken off the tape. It's a lot cleaner, and it makes it a lot easier to work on. It makes it a lot more symmetrical, as I said before. And I'm just filling in around here. This is all just off the top of my head, just seeing what works. And then I mix this really nice cream colour, and I'm just making a border now. So here I've actually filled in all my detail and how I want it to look with my pencil, and I'm just going in with this really nice light pink. I think this really contrasts well with the blue and the red. I didn't use a stencil for this. This is all just freehand, and I wanted just a bit of a floral design on here. And with the yellow I'm going in with now, again, I'm just using acrylic paint. Acrylic is really great because you can build it up thicker, or you can water it down. So it's really easy to use, and it's really quite hard wearing. I also really enjoyed it because I knew if I made a mistake I could just go over it with the acrylic paint. So I've got multiple of the colours of the red and the blue, just in case I make any mistakes. I'm just putting in the leaves here, and I went up over the border because I didn't want to be confined in that space. I want it to be a really free piece. I also decided to add some detail on leaves, so I went in with a lighter green. I used a bit of the blue as well, and I just did some shading, and it just brings it up to life a little bit more 3D, instead of a flat matte painting. So once I'd done this detail, I went in with the 120 grit sanding paper. I stripped the border off and I started sanding the outside. I wanted to get rid of those harsh lines and make it a little bit more aged to blend in with the wood. One thing I did find was that when I sanded over the paintwork and the patterns, the colours started to blend in with each other. I think if I was to do it again, I would paint it, sand it, and then paint over the details, paint over the flowers, and then sand those individually, just so the paint didn't blend in when I was sanding it down. I think this would have been a better effect. So this was before I sanded it, and this is it after. I'm just going in and trying to make it look aged. I have actually ordered some chemical that actually cracks the paint, acrylic paint, so I'm hoping I can use that. And this is the final piece.